Hello and welcome to the third video in this complete beginner series, and we're going to do the same as we did in the last two, breaking down the postures, the breathing and the alignment and the foundations of yoga. So we're actually going to start a little bit differently today. We're going to come and lie down onto our mat. So maybe grab a block or maybe even a book if you've got a nice big chunky book, and possibly a cushion as well, just to support you if it gets a little bit tricky or you need a bit of support throughout any of the poses. So when you're ready, come to lay down onto your mat, and we're going to start with our deep breathing as usual to calm our mind, but we're going to take this while we're lying down today. So come to lie down, and you can either stretch the legs all the way out as you would in your Savasana or your corpse pose, or this is the pose I like to take if we're doing breathing while we're lying down, is actually take the soles of the feet together and let the knees drop out to the side. I just find it more comfortable, but it's completely personal preference onto whatever feels nice for you. So just let the arms fall out to the side and close down your eyes. And just take a moment just to notice how your heart rate feels. It might be a bit quick if you've had a busy day, or you might not be breathing quite as deeply as you should be. And that's completely normal, and that's how I feel today. So there's no right or wrong way. Just notice how it is at the beginning of your practice. And then you can keep your hands here, or you can place both hands onto your belly, taking the deep abdominal breathing that we've been doing in the last two classes. So taking a big inhale through the nose and expanding the belly. See if you can pause at the top for a second, and then exhale through the nose, letting the belly contract naturally. Inhale through the nose, pausing at the top, and exhaling out through the nose. Inhale through the nose to expand the belly. Pausing at the top for a moment, and exhaling out through the nose. A couple more of those deep breaths, making them deeper each time if you can. Do this in your own time. And then just quieten down for a minute. We get so caught up into everyday life, so busy, always rushing. And so sometimes it's nice just to take a moment of quiet when we're on the mat. And then when you're ready, letting the palms fall out to the side, bringing the knees back together, bending up the knees and then bringing them into your chest. You can keep the eyes closed here, or you can open them. It's entirely up to you. Gently rock your knees from side to side. And then drop your knees over to the left side. cactusing the right arm and looking towards the right. Taking a slower start today with a really nice spinal twist. And then bringing the knees back to your chest and dropping them over to the right side, creating a right angle with the left arm. Taking a couple of deep breaths to breathe into that stretch. And then bringing the knees back to center, planting both feet on the floor. Extending the right leg all the way up, flexing the foot. And then crossing the ankle over the top of the knee for your seated figure 4. You can stay here if this is enough for you, or you can take the hands all the way through and clasp the hands behind the left thigh. You can keep them here, or you can gently pull the knee towards you. Go to wherever feels nice but not painful. And then taking one more deep breath here. Unclasping the hands and dropping the left foot down to the floor and uncrossing the legs. Then extending the left leg all the way up, flexing the toes and crossing the left ankle over the top of the right knee. Staying here if this is what you did on the other side, or taking the arms and the hands through and clasping the hands behind the right thigh. Keeping the legs here or gently pulling that right knee towards you. You should be able to feel this stretch all along the left glutes. But just go to whatever feels comfortable. With beginners, we tend to push ourselves and think, oh, we can do that. But actually, that's what leads to injury. So it's best to start off slow and just listen to your body as you go. And then dropping the right foot down to the floor and uncrossing the legs. Both feet planted onto the floor. We're going to extend the arms out above us and we're going to switch on our core. So you want to zip your core in, tightening everything up, extending the arms, keeping the feet planted where they are. And we're going to draw ourselves towards our legs, seeing if we can come all the way up. Your feet might have moved because mine did, so that's fine. This is where we work the core. And then we're going to pull both of the feet up to our Savasana boat pose. So this is like a right angle with your legs, and then you can either grab the back of your thigh, pulling your chest up, or you can extend the arms out. If this is too much, that's completely fine. You can drop the toes down to the floor, so you're just lifting the heels off the floor. And you want to straighten the back and really open up the chest, pulling the shoulders back. Staying here for one more deep breath, squeezing on the core. And exhale through the nose. And then we're going to cross the legs and roll over the feet if you can, or just sweep the legs round, coming to our tabletop position. We've been here a couple of times now, so you should remember this position. Wrists underneath shoulders and knees underneath your hips. Inhale to drop the belly, look towards the ceiling and drop the shoulder, pull the shoulder blades back. Exhale, rounding the back, pushing the floor away from you. Inhale to drop the belly, pull the shoulders back and look towards the ceiling. Exhale, rounding the belly, pushing all the way through, looking towards your navel. Inhale to drop the belly, pulling the shoulders back. Exhale, rounding the back, pushing the floor away from you and looking towards your navel. One more time. Inhale to drop the belly, pulling the shoulders back. And then exhale, rounding the back, spreading the fingers and looking towards your navel. Inhale to come back to neutral position. And then we're going to extend the right leg all the way out. We want our leg in line with our hips. And we want to make sure we're in the center here. We're not leaning too far over to the left side. Maybe adjusting by spreading your fingers if you need to. And then we're going to crunch that right leg in, bringing that knee to our nose. Exhale to send the leg all the way back, straightening it out. Inhale, crunch the right leg in, knee to nose. Exhale to extend all the way back. And then inhale to crunch one more time. Push the floor away from you and then send the leg all the way back on the exhale. Inhale, we're going to crunch it in, knee to nose. This time we're going to pull the knee right up to our chest and step our foot all the way through. It might be easier to come onto blocks to give you a little bit more height next time, just because that sometimes can be a bit of a tricky transition to get the body used to. Coming into our low lunge. So we're going to sink the hips all the way down, and maybe the hands stay on the floor if that's enough. Or you might want to come all the way up, placing the hands on the thigh. You want to feel this in your left hip flexor. And if you have been sitting all day, this might be a little tight, but that's okay, that's completely normal. Inhaling to lengthen and straighten. And then exhale, sinking the hips down. A little bit more if you can. Take one more deep breath in through your nose. And exhale out through your nose. Bringing the fingertips down to the floor and sending the right leg back to your tabletop position. Adjusting your position so we're back into our tabletop. And then exhaling and extending the left leg all the way back so it's in one equal line. Making sure we're into the center of the mat. And then inhale, crunch the left knee into your nose. Push the floor away from you. Exhale, send it all the way back, straightening the leg. Inhale to crunch the left leg in, knee to nose. Exhale, send it all the way back. One more time. Inhale, bring that left knee into your nose. Push the floor away from you to give you more height. And then exhale, send it all the way back. Inhale, we're bending up the knee, bringing it into our nose, pushing the floor away from us, and this time stepping our foot through and in between our palms. You may need to lift this left hand off to get it through or use your blocks. That's completely fine. And then coming into our low lunge, making sure that our ankles underneath our knee and fingertips may be down, or maybe they're onto your thigh. Take an inhale to lengthen up, straightening the spine, and then exhale, sink the hips down, breathing in to the stretch and into the hip flexor muscles. Taking 2 more deep breaths here. And then taking the palms down to the floor, tucking the back toes under, and we're going to send our left leg all the way back to downward facing dog this time. Bending up the knees as much as you need to, remembering that straight spine. And then we're just going to pedal the legs because it's our first one, so we need to wake up our hamstrings. Maybe if your shoulders are a bit sticky, you instead want to press through the shoulders. Do whatever you feel like your body needs to. And stay here for 1 more deep breath. We're going to drop the knees down to the floor and take a quick child's pose. Arms stretched out, forehead down to the floor. And then slowly coming up onto our knees, tucking the toes under and rolling all the way up as slowly as we can to our standing position. Take a big step forward to the front of the mat. So that's the warm up done. I'm going to take you through now the second Surya Namaskara, which is Surya Namaskara B, or Sun Salutation B. This one is a little bit stronger in my opinion, but I'll break it all down completely so we know where we're going and we can learn the movement pattern. So, when you're ready, you want your feet hip distance apart. Make sure you're at the top of the mat. And we're going to bend the knees and sweep the arms all the way down so your fingertips touch the floor. And then keep the bum where it is here. And just your arms come all the way up into our chair pose. Then we're going to exhale and take the palms all the way down to the floor for our forward fold. Inhale to come up to halfway. We've been here before. Hands go on shins or they hang loose with a flat back. Exhale, palms down to floor. Step your legs all the way back to high plank. Dropping the knees down to the floor and tucking the toes. And taking it through a chaturanga, so lowering all the way down, elbows bent. Dropping all the way to the floor. Inhale, keep the hands where they are and pull all the way up, using your back into a back bend. Exhale, hands and feet stay where they are and send the hips all the way back for your downward facing dog. So that is very similar to Surya Namaskara A, and this is where we add on and this is where it varies. So on the inhale, we're going to send the right leg all the way up for your 3-legged dog. Bend up the knee, and if we can, we're going to plant the foot in between the palms. Don't worry if you literally need to move your leg. That's very, very normal if you're starting out with yoga. However you get there, make sure the right foot's in between the palms. And we're going to lift all the way up into our high lunge. We were here in the last class, so we should know where we're going. You should feel this all along the front of the left leg, arms raised overhead. Exhale, send the palms down to the floor. Step back to high plank. Dropping the knees, untucking the toes, and taking it all the way down through your chaturanga. Inhale to roll forward, pull up to your cobra, straightening the arms if you can. Exhale, sending it back to downward facing dog. And then inhaling, taking the left leg up to the sky. Bend up the knee, bring it all the way into your chest. And if you can, plant the left foot in between the palms. We're going to come all the way up on the inhale. Strong legs. Make sure they're not floppy and bent. Make sure they're strong and straight. Arms overhead. Look forward. Exhale, plant the palms down to the floor, stepping back to your high plank. Knees down, untuck the toes and lower down for your chaturanga. Inhale to roll forward, all the way up to your cobra position, pulling the shoulders back. Exhale to downward facing dog. Staying here for 3 deep breaths. Bend up the knees as much as you need to. Just make sure that we're focusing on that straight spine. And then we're going to inhale to look forward and take as many steps as you need. Come all the way to the front of your mat. Coming up to a halfway lift with a flat back. Exhale, fold down to the floor for your forward fold. Inhale to bend up the knees, sweep the arms, come back to your chair pose. And then exhale, come all the way up to your standing position. Good. We are going to do that one more time so that we know where we're going. Don't worry if you got a little lost. We'll just keep doing it. So, when you're ready, feet hip width apart. Take an inhale to bend the knees and sweep the arms. Fingertips brush the floor. Come all the way up. Exhale, take the palms down to the floor for your forward fold. Inhale to come up halfway with a flat back. Exhale, palms down to floor, step back to high plank. Maybe your knees are off this time. We're going to bend the elbows and lower all the way through your chaturanga. Inhale to roll all the way forward into your cobra. Exhale, send the hips all the way back for down dog. Take an inhale to lift the right leg skywards. Bend up the right knee and pull it into your chest. Stepping that right foot in between the palms, however you can. Inhale to come all the way up into your high lunge. Take a breath. Just to center ourselves. And then exhale, take the palms down to the floor through your chaturanga. All the way down, coming and pulling the chest through for your cobra. Exhale, send the hips all the way back for your downward facing dog. Then inhale, lift the left leg to the sky. Pull the left knee into your chest, crunched in. And step your left foot through, however is comfortable. Coming up to your high lunge. Taking a breath. Take a big inhale one more time. Exhale, palms down to floor. Step back to your high plank. Take it through your chaturanga. Inhale to up dog. Maybe your thighs are off. That's quite an advance with your thighs off, so don't worry. If you're down here, that's as good as anything. And then tuck the toes under, sending the hips all the way back for your downward facing dog. Taking 5 deep breaths in this pose. If you want to come down to child's pose for a couple of minutes, for a little rest, that is completely fine. Please take whatever you need. And then meeting back in our downward facing dog. bend up the knees, look forward, come to step to the front of the mat, into your halfway lift with a flat back. Exhale, take the palms down to the floor. And then inhale, bend the knees, sweep the arms, come to chair pose. One last time. Exhale, palms to your heart center, hands by your side. Job. Hopefully we should be warm. I am warm. So hopefully we should be nice and warm and the body's loosened a little bit. We're going to do a couple more standing postures just so that we can practice and get those foundations in. And then we're going to have a little bit of a chill and a cool down. So when you are ready, come back to the front of your mat, back into your mountain pose, or Tadasana as they call it in Sanskrit. So the pose that we just finished on, pulling the shoulders back and tucking that tailbone under. We're going to bring both of our palms to your heart center, and we're going to lift that right leg to 90 degrees. We're going to take our warrior 3 in a moment, but for this is a balancing posture, so I really want you to focus on a point that's in front of you that is not moving. Then we're going to send that right leg all the way back behind us, so we are coming into a T shape. Flexing up those toes if you can. And there's two things we want to focus on here. Number one is pressing that left big toe into the floor to help us with the stability. And number two is squaring up those hips. So pulling that right hip down rather than opening it up and making us really wobbly like that just made me. We want to pull that right hip down and square our hips so they are in one line. We're going to bend the bottom leg and take a big step back to our high lunge. Then we're going to come to our warrior 2. So we're going to take that right foot to face the side of the mat, taking the arms out to the side and bending into that left knee. Holding here for 2 breaths, looking towards that middle finger and pulling the shoulders back so they are in line with one another. Take the next inhale to straighten that front leg. And reach that left arm really far forward. And when you can't get any further, we're going to drop that left hand all the way down, coming to our triangle pose. So both arms are in one equal line. Maybe using your block underneath your left hand here to give you a bit more space and support. And then stay there for one more breath. Inhale through the nose and exhale out through the mouth. No, the nose. And then we're going to use our strength to bring us all the way back up. And we're going to take that back foot all the way back to come back to our high lunge. So arms overhead, back leg strong and straight. Take your hands down to the floor and we're going to step back to our downward facing dog. Bending up the knees and really spreading those fingertips wide. Staying here for one more breath. And then we're going to walk our feet all the way to the front of the mat. Slowly rolling up, vertebra by vertebra, back to our mountain pose. Rolling the shoulders back. Maybe give the legs a little shake if you need to. The other side. So, when you're ready, bring the feet hip distance apart, palms to heart center, bend up the left knee to 90 degrees. Pick your focal point and send your left leg all the way back to your warrior 3. Straightening up the bottom leg, pressing that right big toe into the floor and making those hips square. So dragging that left hip in line with the right. Maybe flexing those left toes if that's more comfortable and more stable for you. And then bending the bottom leg and stepping all the way back to our high lunge. Don't worry if you wobble like me. It's especially harder on carpet as well. It's a lot easier on hard floor. Then we're going to inhale to take our left foot out to the side, bending up the right knee, coming to your warrior two. Gaze towards those fingertips and really pull the shoulders down and get strong in your warrior two. Take one more breath. Inhale to straighten that right leg. Lean the right arm as far forward as you can. When you can't go any further, we're going to drop the right hand down towards the inside of the shin and take the left arm all the way up for your triangle pose or Trikonasana, as you may hear it in Sanskrit. Stay here for one more breath. Inhale to bend up the knee and come back. Come back to your high lunge. We're going to take the left arm all the way around and up and swivel that back foot into our high lunge. Exhale to take the hands down to the floor and step back to your downward facing dog. Maybe a child's pose if you need a little rest. Staying here for 2 more deep breaths. And then wherever you are, we're going to make our way to come to a seated position. So come in whichever way is comfortable. And we're going to sit down with our knees bent, feet down to the floor. And then we're going to take the soles of the feet together and drop the knees out wide to the side. This is called our butterfly pose. We're going to grab the ankles, or you can grab the feet, whichever you prefer. If this is, you're really high or this is quite difficult, you can actually place blocks underneath your knees here to help you and give you a little bit of support and stability. So just listen to your body and see what you need. We're going to place our hands on our feet or our ankles and then inhale to straighten that spine and pull the shoulders back as much as you can. This can be quite a tight one, or if you're finding this quite easy, you can always bring the heels a little bit closer to you. Staying here for one more breath. And then you can stay here for longer, or you can round through the back, press the elbows towards the knees, and come and fold forward. Go to whichever one feels more comfortable. No version is better than the other. It just completely depends on what is right for your body today. Staying here for one more breath. And then inhale to come all the way up. Bring the knees together and come to lay down onto your back on the mat. We're going to bring the knees into our chest. And you can either stay here if this is better for you, or you can reach the hands to grab the outside of the feet and then pull the knees towards your armpits. This is called your happy baby. This can be quite nice on the lower back, whether you want to rock from side to side or you want to stay still. Just drawing the knees into the armpits to open up the hips. And then bringing the knees back into your chest, letting go of the feet. Take an inhale to come up and create a really small little ball. And then exhale, send your legs and your body all the way down to the mat for your Savasana. Take a big breath in through the nose. Open the mouth and sigh that breath out through the mouth. One more time, inhale through the nose. Open the mouth and sigh the breath out. Relaxing all the way back. And then just bringing a little bit of awareness and movement back into your fingers and your toes. Maybe taking a stretch if that feels good. And then whenever you're ready, coming all the way back up to a seated position. Maybe onto a cushion or a block. And then just gently close the eyes, placing the hands wherever feels comfortable. Taking a moment just to thank yourself for showing up again, particularly if you've done the 2 videos before this. Well done. And well done for just showing up today, because showing up is always the hardest part. Check in to just notice your heart rate for a moment and see how it's different from the start of the practice. When you're ready, palms to your heart center. Inhale to bring the thumbs up to the forehead. And then exhale, namaste. Thank you for joining today. I hope you learned something new. And I hope some of it's starting to feel a little bit more familiar, especially if you've done the last 2 videos now. Any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below. Otherwise, I will see you in my next video, which I will get out next week, the final one in the Complete Beginner series. Have a lovely rest of your day.